Noren's Hardware is a local family-owned store offering a wide selection of quality hardware supplies at competitive prices. Whether you need plumbing supplies or electrical supplies, you're sure to find what you need at Noren's Hardware Store, including ice melt, shovels, gloves, heat tape, pipe insulation, portable heaters, and propane to get ready for the winter months. Our staff is committed to providing outstanding customer service. And visit our store at 55 Main Street in Pana today.
CTI is the only internet company that offers a price lock for life on gig-by-gig residential fiber internet at $69.95 per month. You can't control most costs, but you can control the price of your internet. Sign up by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Cousin Bill here from Illinois Paving. Hey, Christian County and surrounding area. Let us do your paving job, whether large or small this year. Find out can do your paving project clicking the icon at Taylorville Daily News.
WTIM. You're listening to WTM, your information station, and we're here with our Pana morning show every Tuesday of each week. And this week we are talking a little bit with Pana Pride, and that is Melissa Miller. We want to thank sponsors like People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, as well as Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Pana Save a Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited as well today. A big thanks to those folks for bringing the Pana morning show, and we'll get talking to Melissa. And Melissa, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm glad to hear you're doing well today as well. Melissa, I'd like to just know a little bit about Pana Pride, what exactly the organization is, what's the kind of purpose behind it, and if you could kind of just give me the detail around with you for Pana Pride and talk a little bit about it.
Okay. Well, Pana Pride is a non-for-profit organization. Members include one who lives in Pana. The group having events and activities to bring the community together.
And would you say,
no,
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. And that gives me an idea too. So mainly when it comes to, beautifying the city and things like that, things that any city could use. And so certainly I think Pana or Taylorville or anywhere in central Illinois could use some of that beautifying, especially in downtown areas, kind of those hubs for small businesses. Melissa, what drove you to the position, and what gets you interested in the work that Pana Pride does?
So I got involved with Pana Pride during COVID. They decided to move the Christmas lights from the fairgrounds to the park, and Pana Pride kind of took that over at that time. And so I started going in and helping put the lights out, and just the camaraderie among everyone doing that and helping with things in town, being a part of making Pana a greater place to be, just really inspired me to want to do more. So I started going to the meetings and getting more involved in the different committees that we have. And over the years, I've continued to help with the Christmas lights for certain. There's other committees that we have and projects that I've helped with over those years that just give you a great sense of well-being and makes you feel good to help do things in town to make it a better place for everyone.
Yeah, and it's where, I'm guessing you live, and so you also have a vested interest in it as well for you and your family. And so I appreciate you sharing what got you into this position, or what maybe drove that inspiration behind it. You mentioned committees there, and that different committees do different things. Could you give us a breakdown on the committees and what they kind of do across the city?
I sure can. So we have three main committees: activities committee and a downtown to help beautify the city, of course. Paint the curbs. Sometimes uptown they go around, paint the curbs. This summer we'll be pulling weeds downtown along the sidewalk. First week of May we'll be putting out the hanging baskets in downtown Pana, and then we have volunteers who will water them throughout the summer. The Events and Activities Committee holds different events and activities to bring the community together. Some events don't necessarily raise money per se. Some of them do raise money, and that money is earmarked for different projects. So we had a daddy-daughter dance, had about 140 attendees for that, and the proceeds for that went to the demo fund. We had a puzzle fundraiser recently, had 12 teams that showed up for that. That money wasn't designated for anything at this point, so I'm not sure what they're going to do with that yet. And then our other committee is the demo committee. It's in charge of working with the city to demolish houses in town that need to be brought down. I think to date we've taken down 11, and we're hoping to do maybe 3 this year. Money for that project or those demolitions comes from fundraisers and donations from the public.
And it kind of goes hand in hand, I would assume, the demo committee with the kind of the beautification committee in that regard, where and the events and planning activities committee as well, kind of all go hand in hand with, all right, if we're going to raise money, we got to bring some houses down. We also need a little bit of money and volunteer help for the beautification, hanging of baskets, or whatever the case might be. They all kind of go hand in hand with the same mission, but just different ways of achieving said mission. So I appreciate that breakdown of the 3. You said maybe you plan to take down 11, or excuse me, had taken down about 11 homes and maybe plan for about 3 this year. How does that process go when it comes to your work with the Pana Pride and also the city of Pana? What's the kind of connection there in terms of demolishing those homes?
Well, we have an individual who's in charge of the demo committee who oversees all that, goes to the planning meetings. So I can't 100% get that information because I'm not sure what she does to do that, but she does work with members of the city to determine which houses are eligible. They have to meet certain requirements, and then of course there has to be so much money in the fund to make the project happen.
Sure. And Melissa, when I think to you taking on this position recently, is there anything that you see that you could benefit the organization itself? Are there any maybe potential changes you plan to make, more events, whatever the case might be? What are some of those plans that you might have for Pana Pride, if you don't mind sharing?
Me personally, at this point, I am very new to the group. I've just been with it a couple of years. Only been president for a month, so I'm still learning a lot of things, which is why I'm not answering your questions as probably as good as the previous president could have. I don't have any plans to change anything right now, just mostly support what we already are doing. We're always looking for new events and activities, trying to make things fun for families. And then we're always doing, different, we are, I spoke about how I got involved to start with the Christmas light. We are working with the city, and there's nothing set in stone, and it's still on the planning stages. But we're trying to update the electrical in the park so that we can provide better lighting for the lights, better electrical hookups and whatnot. And that's something that's in the works right now too, but that's still pretty new. So like I said, I don't have any changes in mind. It's a really good group. We're always encouraging anyone and everyone to come to the meetings. You don't have to come to our meetings. Everyone is a member of Pana Pride. So if you just want to show up to help with something, that's great.
Yeah. And I'm sure volunteer work is obviously needed to kind of commit to some of those projects, different things like you mentioned earlier with some of those that you're set to work on moving forward. And but I do appreciate just kind of knowing a little bit about where the demo committee comes into that, because I think that goes hand with the city of Pana homes and also that work. And I do understand new to it and not really knowing about any changes wanting to be made now, but I'm sure as you get more comfortable in your role, you'll figure different events and things out that might interest you, or maybe some are coming up. I mentioned the daddy-daughter day previously, the puzzle making. project that was previously done. Do you have anything in the works right now coming up for the month of, even March or April or even into the summer?
We have a few things coming up. One thing is we are working with to host a music bingo that will be on March 28th at the Eagles here. The proceeds from that fundraiser will go towards the fireworks this year. The summer that we'll be hosting children's games at Pain and Pride will be doing that part of it that we hosted in May, I believe that's coming up. So there are some upcoming things, and I'd be happy to talk about those as they get closer as well.
Sure. Well, Melissa, we are already through 10 minutes here of the first segment, so we'll take our first break, and then we'll go ahead and we'll wrap things up here on the WTIM Pana show. Sponsors like People's Bank and Trust, and as well as Landmark.
Attention hunters and gun owners, you must get to Locked and Loaded Sportsman Paradise in Pana. Take the short drive and shop Central Illinois' premier gun shop. Come see the huge inventory of firearms, ammo, hunting supplies, and accessories. In stock now, custom designed Locked and Loaded t-shirts and headgear. Brush up on your shooting skills at the indoor range featuring 7 shooting lanes. If it has to do with firearms or hunting, you'll find it at Locked and Loaded on Route 16 East in Pana. Locked and Loaded, open 6 days a week. Like them on Facebook.
The big Sandy's rising, sound the alarm.
On the heels of deadly floods, eastern Kentucky and West Virginia are left devastated. Lives have been lost, homes and businesses swept away, and families are struggling to survive. But in the face of unimaginable loss, there's a way to help. Pike County Flood Relief is there, providing hope where it's needed most. Your deductible donation can help deliver food, shelter, and the support needed to rebuild lives. These families have lost everything, but with your help, they can heal. Go to PikeCountyFloodRelief.org right now to make your donation. Every dollar helps. Every act of kindness counts. Together, we can heal the heart of these communities. Pike Flood.
Have you noticed that as you grow older, your doctor's physical much more physical?
Boy, do they.
As the years add up, presented with a plethora of supplemental poking, prodding, and probing.
But what's true for your digestive system is also true for your comfort system.
You getting up years?
When's the last time it had a physical?
Art is the prime time to plan. Let Jansen's Heating and Air your Jansen's Super Summer Preseason Tune-Up, Checkup, Stress Test, and Efficiency Boost is the perfect prescription for improved longevity, stamina, vital signs, and virility.
Well, for your air conditioner, that is.
Plus, your own.
Schedule your preseason Super Summer Tune-Up and Efficiency today.
Call Heating and Air 560-5201.
JansensHeating.com.
If rash develops, please discontinue use.
This is Jeff Bremmett with People's Bank and Trust, where customers have one consumer banker who knows them and provides the right financial services to achieve their financial goals. Your consumer banker is your single source for life's financial needs, from checking to consumer loans, from retirement accounts to mortgage loans, and everything in between. Call me at 888-PBT-1954. Bank with People's Bank and Trust so you can spend your time living your life, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, we put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
WTIM. You're listening to WTIM and our Pana Morning Show with nonprofit, civic, and business leaders of the Pana community. It's brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, as well as Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Pana Save-A-Lot, Locked and Loaded Limited. And a big thanks to those folks for helping bring this segment of today's show, where We're speaking with Melissa Miller. She is the president of Pana Pride, and we've been talking a little bit about what drove her to the position, what Pana Pride's purpose is within the community, committees, and now we'd like to talk a little bit about how to get involved. And Melissa, could you tell us when the meetings are and maybe how people could get involved in the volunteer sense of things?
Sure. We meet the second Thursday of every month at the Pana Christian Church in Pana. The committees themselves, like beautification, the events and activities, and demo committees, they meet at 6. So if one of those committees speaks out to you as a committee, at 6:30 is the general meeting. So at 6:30 we'll just convene together in the room as one big group, and each committee gives an update about what they're working on or what they've worked on. For example, the events committee at the last meeting gave us an update on how the daddy-daughter dance went and how the puzzle fundraiser went. If you can't make a meeting, that's okay, or you can't make any meetings, that's okay. You don't have to come to a meeting. Everyone is a member of Pana Pride in Pana. You don't have to show up at the meetings to volunteer for anything. We have different fundraisers and events, and you can just show up to work at them. As an example, for the Christmas lights, we had several work days in the weeks leading up to the lights coming on, where we worked at the Fridays and Sunday. We have some people who go one day. We have some people who are there every weekend, all volunteer, and we look forward to seeing people at the meetings and helping out with the projects.
Sure thing. With that, if somebody isn't at the meetings or can't attend the meetings at the time that they are allotted for, is there a way that they can keep up with Pana Pride on social media in order to know when volunteering might be needed?
Sure. We have a Facebook page, Pana Pride. We keep that updated. We also put on there events. So if you look on there right now, I think I called it I don't know what I called the market earlier, but it's a spring market, I believe is what it's called. There's a flyer up talking about it. Anytime we need volunteers to do something, we post it on there. So I keep referring back to the Christmas lights, but that's one of our biggest things that we just finished. When we had the worker shifts, it was on there. Hey, we're going to work every Saturday from this time to this time, and Sundays from this time to this time. If you want to come out and help us, these are when we're going to be there. So if you follow our page, it keeps you updated on the activities. We post the meeting information on there, and we put different items on there to let the public know what we're doing and what's upcoming.
Absolutely. With that being the case, I'm sure that some donations or some fundraising is needed, as you've mentioned some of those fundraisers being done. Is there a means of donating if say I can't give my time or it's just not possible for me to? Is there a way to also support fiscally that you could do without having to bend the back and do a little bit of that work as well?
Sure. We have a Venmo. So if you want to donate money to any of the projects, you can Venmo the money to us, and that is just at Pana Pride IL. And then you can also mail it to us at Pana Pride, PO Box 166 in Pana.
And
this is 62557.
62557. And with that being the case, we'll have more to talk about in the next time around, but we've got Pana Popcorn Festival coming up. We've got music bingo with the fire department, maybe some updates on the electrical at the park and how that's going. And so I'm excited to hear from you next month with some of those things that you mentioned to me as well. And maybe we'll have an idea too about some of the homes that might be potentially up for demo and some of those other things as well. Melissa, we've got just under a minute here. Is there anything else that you'd like to make sure that we highlight here this morning before we wrap things up?
No, again, just to encourage everyone to come and join us. The more the merrier. And I appreciate you having me here this morning.
Absolutely. When are those meeting times? One more time for folks out there.
Sure. The second Thursday of every month at the Pana Christian Church. 6 p.m. is when the committees meet, and at 6:30 convene for a general meeting with everyone.
And so if you are interested, go ahead and go to that First Christian Church, be a part of those meetings, and also keep up with them on Facebook to learn more about what they've got going on. Again, Melissa, thank you for being a part of the show here today. I appreciate it. You're listening to the WTIM Pana Morning Show when we're speaking with Melissa Miller, Pana Pride President. We'll be back around with more on WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9